Week 2 of the Championship season is back, and this week it's Blackburn Rovers entertaining Middlesbrough, Blackburn's first home game of the season. We'll recap on last week, what happened between both Middlesbrough and Blackburn Rovers. We'll take a deeper dive into the upcoming game at Ewood Park on Saturday. Can Blackburn win this one? In short answer, yes, but we'll have a little look at how that is going to take place if it does. Middlesbrough fans, what are you expecting from the trip to Ewood Park? We know historically it's a bit of a bogey side for Middlesbrough. However, Blackburn tend to fare a bit better at the Riverside, and Middlesbrough tend to do a little bit better at Ewood Park. Obviously, we're going to scratch out last season, 2-0 draws, and let me tell you, they weren't the most exciting ones. From a Middlesbrough point of view, the trip to Ewood Park last season should have been wrapped up in the first half. It wasn't to be, and Blackburn dug deep, probably 10 behind the ball, survived like I don't know what, and they managed to scrape a 0-0 draw, and that's what we had to do to guarantee safety last season. It'll be a different fixture, this one, in my opinion. It's early in the season. We're still finding out a little bit about both teams. A lot about both teams, in fact. Blackburn Rovers, obviously, they played at Wolverhampton Wanderers last season. And many had them down to be dismantled at Wolves and came away with a really, really good point. Middlesbrough, on the other hand, they were at home to newly promoted Lincoln, and it wasn't an easy game. Everyone thought Middlesbrough would probably come away 3 or 4-0. It was a 2-1 victory in the end after Lincoln took the lead. Middlesbrough came back 2 goals from their new main man up front, Will Lancashire, and it saved Middlesbrough's blushes a little bit, and they came away with 3 points. This week, it's a clean slate. We don't know what we're going to get. One thing for sure, it will be a really exciting game. We've got Tony Mowbray back at Ewood Park. He will be trying to play a game plan to suit Blackburn with a bit of an expansive style of football. And Middlesbrough will be looking to bed all these new signings in. Kim Hellberg likes a possession-based football, and we're going to see a lot of that tomorrow. First up, let's have a look at last week. So, Blackburn Rovers to start off, we took a trip to Wolves. Wolves have come down, and I expected a tough game, and probably a tougher game than what we actually got. I thought overall in the 90 minutes, Blackburn were probably good value for money for a 3-point victory there, but it wasn't to be. As expected, spells of that game where Blackburn gave the ball away a bit unnecessarily, so they need to be better on the ball going forward, and I'm sure Tony Mowbray will be drilling that into the players as well. Middlesbrough, obviously, like we've already touched on, a 2-1 victory at home to Lincoln City. They'll be looking for something a bit more comprehensive than that, in all honesty. There's been a lot of transfer dealings with Middlesbrough so far this season. I think they brought in a new keeper, a couple of new defenders, 1 or 2 midfielders, and also 1 or 2 strikers. So it's not easy to just say, we'll put all them in the team at once and we'll expect Middlesbrough to be flying, because that's not how it works. And I expect a little bit of rustiness tomorrow as well. We've seen it last week with the win against Lincoln, but the one thing is they've got the job done on both of those occasions. I'm hoping, as a Blackburn fan, to don't get the job done tomorrow. There'll be a good few fans travelling down to Ewood Park, even though the ticket prices have been questioned a lot. So, this week, what do Blackburn Rovers need to do to be able to beat Middlesbrough? It's probably one of the toughest games of the season. But Tony Mowbray will know a lot about Middlesbrough. He watched a lot of them last season when he wasn't working. Can that play in our favour? I don't know, because it's a different Middlesbrough side completely. They've gone out, they've spent really well this summer. So, it's going to be the same style of play, totally different personnel in the team. One thing's for sure is Ash Phillips, who we all know at Blackburn Rovers. He came through the academy, he got his head turned and he went to Spurs. He's now at Middlesbrough. He won't be playing this weekend. I think Kim Hellberg's come out and said it's going to come a little bit too soon for Ash Phillips. They've got quality in that team. Probably a lot more quality than what Blackburn Rovers have got. Tony Mowbray has already come out in the media, I think it was yesterday, and he said that there's going to be large spells of the game where Middlesbrough are going to have possession, and we're going to have to allow that possession. So we can work that to our advantage, give them possession in areas that we know that we can hurt them. So it's obvious that we're going to be playing more of a counter-attacking style of football against this Middlesbrough side. If we were stupid enough to go all attack all at the first minute, we would get undone pretty much straight away. So we're not going to do that. It's going to be a patient type approach from Blackburn. We will get opportunities, that is for sure. And if we can give supply to Andre Goodjohnson, who looks in really good form early on in the season, then that can work to our advantage. Middlesbrough, we don't want to be giving them too much possession in and around dangerous areas, edge of the box type play. If we see a repeat of last season where Middlesbrough came to Blackburn and got the 0-0 draw, I can see this being easily 2 or 3-0 to Middlesbrough, but I don't think it's going to be that style of play. They've got the quality in the side to be able to finish this time round. That was one area of Middlesbrough's play last season where they really struggled, especially if a team like Blackburn did 10 behind the ball and defend for their lives. When they get those opportunities, they needed to finish them, and they couldn't do that last season, but I think this will be a different story. So, what am I expecting from a score point of view? Now, I'm going to try and give a prediction based on not necessarily being a Blackburn Rovers fan. Please don't say I'm sitting on the fence, but I am going to kind of sit on the fence with this one. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw, and I think Middlesbrough will probably take the lead first early on, and Blackburn will come back into it at some point in the second half. 1-1 draw would probably be a decent result this early on in the season. However, I can see Blackburn winning this one, and this is not from a biased point of view. I just think so early in the season, Middlesbrough have not necessarily clicked yet, and I think it could be another game like that tomorrow. It's not going to be an easy away game for Middlesbrough going to Ewood Park. They know that they're in for a tough game, and the longer we stay in that game, I think it'll suit Blackburn. So yeah, I'm going with a 1-1 draw, but I could easily see Blackburn nicking something late on in that game if we've stayed in the game long enough. Now, where can I see Middlesbrough winning this game? So, if Blackburn don't stick to a game plan for 90 minutes, they will get found out. Middlesbrough, we've discussed already, have got the quality in their team, in their squad. I think Middlesbrough will create chances. They'll pick us off. They'll be able to create chances in that final third. And like I said, they've got the personnel this time to be able to finish those chances. That striker that they have got up front, I can't really believe that Tottenham have sold him. From what I've seen so far, he knows how to finish. So we can't be giving him those opportunities at Ewood Park to be able to say, there you go, see if you can finish it, because he will. And that's where I think Middlesbrough could play to their advantage. 3 players I'm really looking forward to watching tomorrow for Blackburn. One of them is Tom Aitchison, young defender, up-and-coming defender, central defender who gets the ball down, but he can really drive forward with it. But his awareness of the game at such a young age is fantastic when you're watching him. I remember the last time I went at the back end of last season to Ewood Park, and it was kind of, I had a bit of a player cam on him, and just watching how he read the game was unbelievable, and he's developed even more since then. He got caught out a little bit last week against Wolves with the goal when he was split down the middle with Sean McLaughlin, but he's learning, and he's only going to get better and stronger. And if he wants a test in the Championship, tomorrow is going to be the game he's going to get that with Lancashire up front. So I'm really looking forward to watching Tom Aitchison. I'm looking forward to seeing how Middlesbrough handle Ryan Alabiosu, because last week he was probably the standout player for me alongside Johnson. And once he'd worked out Mane last week against Wolves, his positioning was just brilliant for the rest of the game. But not only that, from a defensive point of view, his ability to get forward and cause problems down the right wing against a very good Wolves side, let me tell you, was just brilliant. It's probably one of the best performances I've seen him in a Blackburn Rovers shirt last week. And look, it's no coincidence that both of our goals came from the right-hand side, and hopefully we can see more of that, because what it does is Middlesbrough will be aware of it as well. It was a bit like when we had Callum Britton, and they'll know all about Callum, having him at Middlesbrough at the moment, but you can't, when you're playing up against somebody of the ability of Alabiosi, you can't just go all out attack with your left back or whether it's a left wing back to play or even the left wingers. They have to double up at times, but he's so good at getting down that right wing and causing problems. And I think tomorrow he'll be key for Blackburn. So I'm looking forward to seeing Alabiosu, but I'm also looking forward to seeing Folian. Now, he is a bit of the surprise package for me at the moment for Blackburn. He's obviously had a run of games under Tony Mowbray in pre-season. He's obviously come in and watched him and seen something that he likes in him. Now, for me, his physicality is just like unbelievable. The way he can, I think it was Trippier, he just knocked off the ball last week. He's so strong. But for a strong, big player, he's decent on the floor as well. And he had a shot last week from about 25 yards that was tipped over, and it was close to going in. And this is a lad now that knows he's been given an opportunity again, when he probably thought, what's going on here? I've come in last season, I've not really been given many chances. All of a sudden, it's a complete clean slate for the lad, and it looks like he's taking that opportunity. So I'm looking forward to seeing how many problems he can cause Middlesbrough, and I think he will as well. And look, I'm a massive Johnson fan, so all of these cogs in behind with Folian and Alabio and other players, Mowbray as well, if they can link up well tomorrow, Andrew Johnson's in for a really good time, because once you give him supply, he knows how to finish. He's a real proper number 9, and we've not had that at Blackburn for a really long. In fact, I can't remember who the last player was where we had that real number 9, like the olden days. I mean, the cliche, but the olden days style of number 9 player. And I feel like we've got that in Johnson, so it's all about providing him with those opportunities, and also what is key is keeping him fit. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they fare against a really good Middlesbrough side tomorrow. But if those 4 players I've mentioned can have really good games, we're in for a good performance as Blackburn Rovers fans. Now, finally, I want to kind of cap off and discuss the newfound optimism amongst Blackburn Rovers fans. Now, this is a word that Blackburn have not used for a very long time. Optimism just doesn't come natural in terms of Blackburn Rovers at the moment, especially if you've been following them over the last certainly 2 or 3 years at least. But going into the season, it's been difficult to be optimistic. We've still only seen a couple of transfers, but they look like they've been key transfers. We brought in Jaden Fevrier from Stockport County and Sam Morsey. Now, I think Sam Morsey is a superb signing, but both of these, I think look really good players already. Fevrier scored in the cup. He looked good when he came on against Wolves, and Morsey especially, bags of championship experience, but what a powerhouse he is in that midfield. And I think it wouldn't surprise me if he starts against Middlesbrough. But this optimism has come on the back, obviously. We've come back from a goal down against Stockport. We've got through to the next round of the Cup. But that performance against Wolves has probably surprised a lot of people. Bearing in mind, this is a Blackburn Rovers side that the neutrals have relegated. Some have us finishing bottom, some have us finishing second bottom, and even a lot of the Blackburn Rovers fan base have us finishing in that relegation zone. We haven't brought in as many players that we probably hoped, but that performance has lifted something within the fan base. I can see it with the comments online already. There's just a bit of a different feel. Now, is this optimism premature because we've had a good performance against Wolves last Friday night? Or is there something there? Is there a bit of a core of a squad that we've got there where we're thinking, actually, if we can put in performances like that, how far can the club go? So tomorrow's going to be really interesting. We're either going to be brought back down to earth pretty heavily, or that optimism is going to grow. Because if we come off the back of Middlesbrough with a really good result, say we get 3 points against a really good Middlesbrough side, at that point we can start to say, right, okay, We weren't expecting this, but we've got a point at Middlesbrough and a point at Wolves, 3 points against Middlesbrough. If we can add 1 or 2 or 3 bits of quality into this squad, what can Tony Mowbray do with these players? Because a lot of these players just need a bit of confidence boosting, and probably the type of manager like Tony Mowbray to come in, put his arm around them and make them believe as players. And we've seen a little bit of that at Wolves last week. So is it premature optimism, or is there a real reason to be optimistic at the moment as a Blackburn Rovers fan? For me, I've always been quite optimistic. Lately, that's been sapped out of me a little bit. But I am optimistic going into tomorrow's game, and there's just something about the team and the feel about it that I quite like at the moment. So if we can get a good result tomorrow, it just continues that optimism. It continues that momentum that we as fans can build on, but the players can build on themselves. And maybe, just maybe, we can surprise a few people going forward this season. But if you like Championship talk like I do, and also if you're a Blackburn Rovers fan, feel free to subscribe and follow my videos going forward. I'd be really appreciative.